How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe. We got some really exciting truck content coming in the future. But yesterday I went up and picked up this F150 FX4. It is the EcoBoost motor, something I was really looking for when it comes to towing and just fuel economy. You guys seen I do have the Titan, which I was planning on selling. I got a really good deal on it on Copart, and the plan was to eventually sell it once I get a new truck. But the EcoBoost was something I always wanted because it is turbocharged. There's nothing like it on the Chevy or Dodge market. No other truck manufacturer really makes an EcoBoost type motor, so it is special in that way. It does have its drawback, especially on the first F150 that I purchased. Was kind of a big mistake on me on not really making sure that it ran a drive. This is the first one I picked up. As you can see, it's on a fairly large lift kit. I believe it's either a 6 or 8 inch BDS lift kit. Now you see the engine and transmission is out. That's where I messed up because the timing actually slipped enough to where the valves were actually hitting the pistons. I was able to check that with a bore scope camera, and at that point I was like, this is basically going to be a part out, because that's what I do for my business. The reason we're out here in the field is because I have a lot of projects going on in the shop, just off camera stuff I do for my business. I part out cars. If you guys are looking for any parts or anything, specifically the G35s, I got a few Audis, BMWs, a lot of German cars as well, Mercedes. This is going to be my first time plugging my eBay business, so link in the description if you need any parts. I'll give you a good deal if you're a subscriber, so just let me know if you are. But anyways, back to this Ford. The engine and transmission were extremely hard to pull out of this mainly because of this part of the body. This is part of the body. You can't unbolt this. If you damage this, you have to basically cut and re-weld some things. And I could have found another F-150 that had like a bunch of damage, and I could have replaced the motor and everything, but it was just so difficult messing with this. And also you have all the piping and stuff for the turbos and all that. And another thing too, this truck has quite a bit of rust, as you can tell, and it's everywhere on this truck. It only has 140 something thousand miles, which is kind of disappointing. It is the XLT F150, which I'm not really sure what that means. It's just the trim level. I think it's an upper trim level, but honestly the seats and everything are cloth, so nothing special in here. They are in pretty good condition, and I do like this cab as well. This just pulls open like this. It gives you a lot of room really to, go in here, because you don't have this pillar coming up and down. But yeah, this is really nice. It did come with some performance stuff that I will be swapping into my other F-150, like this air raid intake right there. It comes with the piping as well as the filter that just goes in the factory location. It obviously came with these over fenders as well, which I'm probably not going to put on. They look kind of cheap. But we got all the parts in there that have already been taken off this, because to pull the motor I went ahead and did that. But anyways, that's enough of that truck. Let's go ahead and go to the new one. This is a trim level I was really looking for. It is the FX4, which is the highest trim level in terms of the actual F-150, not the Raptor, when it comes to off-road. It has the limited slip differential, has just all the bells and whistles, has these little over fenders, which honestly look pretty good. And obviously all the badging is in red, the FX4. It has the EcoBoost motor, which I haven't started this one at all yet. We'll go and pop the hood. But it has 160 or 170,000 miles, I believe. I think it's 160 something. But everything looks pretty promising. On the Copart listing, it said run and drive. So I'm really hoping this doesn't have any timing issues like the other one had. But obviously we're gonna get all this fixed up, because it does not have coolant. AC is probably damaged as well, and transmission fluid is probably a little low. So I'll probably just give it a little bit of a start just to make sure it's actually running good, and this is actually going to be something I want to rebuild. That is going to really determine whether I rebuild this or not. But it has all the little decals on here, which look really good. This is a 2013, so it does have the steel cab, not the aluminum. In the back here, it has some of the parts from the damage, like the fender. It has this little thing that goes over the bed. And what's really cool is the tailgate here does have a reverse camera. Let's see. So this pops out somehow. I've done it before. I don't remember how you do it. Not a whole lot of damage on this one. We'll go ahead and pop in the interior here. This is the crew cab. This is the super crew cab, I believe is what Ford calls them. But it does have the amazing, I love these seats. These are my favorite ones from this year. Has like this leather, this striping, this red striping is also in leather. And it does have this perforated suede material in the inner part of the seat, which looks really nice. Has a center console with the actual shift lever, not the shift thing that's on the steering column, which I really like. Has backup camera, all that. Really love this interior. We'll look on the back side of the cab here. Really good condition. It's really dirty right now, so it needs to be cleaned, but it looks really nice. This is really promising. Has the Sony speakers. A lot of the F150s and that one do not have these little tweeters on the sides right there, which I was planning on putting in anyways on that side, but it came factory on this, so that's really nice. The battery was drained. I'll go into that in a second, but we went ahead and charged that, and it's holding charge just fine. It's a 2019 battery, so it's not that old. Still good for a few more years. But onto the exterior damage. Obviously I'll need to fix this entire part. It's mainly just swapping pieces over. Hood looks fine. There's like hail damage or something in some areas, which this is an aluminum hood, so hopefully I can pop it out with my little tool that I have. This radiator right here just holds literally all the coolers, and I have that in the back of that truck, so that's just pulling that off and swapping the new one in. As for the frame or the body, this little area right here has popped up. As you can see, we just need to hit that down with a hammer. I believe the fender just got ripped off this and kind of the screw pulled that up. So that will be easy fix. And then down here, obviously this is popped out a little bit right there. I have a welder, so I could probably weld that back in and hit this, but it doesn't look like it's bent at all. It looks completely fine to me. Besides, obviously down here, we'll use some pliers and fix that. Another thing to fix is, and this is the reason why I think the battery is drained, is because this wiring right here, there's like 2 or 3, I think there's 3 wires in here that are just completely ripped apart, and it was probably shorting, so fuses, probably need to check all of them right there, and then underneath the glove box in the cab, check all those, make sure they're all good before I start it. Obviously I want to fix that before I start it. And all this does is connect the rear end tail lights, camera, etc. to the front end of the car. Now that's really it for the front end. This door is kind of concerning. I've seen this in the pictures and it didn't look as bad as it does in person. If I could get that door to fit this one, that would be great. Rear end of the truck looks really good. Now on this side, we do have a little ding right here, which will probably need to be repainted as well. And this connects to this whole side right here. See, there's a body line right here. So, and I don't think this is a huge issue as well. I'll fix that later on once I get everything going on this car. For the underside of this, looks pretty good. Like not really any rust compared to the other side. The main thing that was rusty on the other one was these on the bed, and these look really good. On the other side, this was completely rusted through, so that's really promising on this truck. And that's really it for this truck. It's mainly just swapping parts over from the white one to the black one and doing a little bit of eye work and getting it painted. Hopefully it runs. I'm crossing my fingers that doesn't have any issues. I checked the codes. I put up a spare battery to it and I checked the codes, and there was only like 2 engine codes. None of them really indicated a timing issue, so that's good news. As for mods for this truck, I do want to put this BDS lift kit on here. It is a little bit rusty, so I might try to get new shocks here and just maybe powder coat or either spray paint the pieces of the BDS kit for when I throw it in here. I don't want this to be a show truck, but I do want it to be a little bit taller. And I really like the height of this truck. It just looks really aggressive. It looks almost like a 3/4 ton with this lift kit and these wheels. These wheels as well, the offset of them are perfect. As you can see in the rear, it sticks out just a little bit with those over fenders. And those over fenders are like 2 inches at least. And so they'll look really nice on this with these factory fenders right there. And I don't know what brand these are. They don't look like a factory Ford wheel, but the chrome on them is chipping. So I will probably get these painted or powder coated. I don't know if I want to go gray or like a matte or gloss black. I think black would look really good, but I also think like a gunmetal gray would look really good. But let me know what you guys think. Tires, I'm going to run 35s as well. These are 35-inch tires. I think that would look great on these. As for performance mods on this truck, obviously I'm going to throw that intake on that I showed you guys. I love cold air intake, especially on boosted cars, because you can hear all that induction noise. All this piping here, I might try to get a sponsor or something to sponsor those for me. And this intercooler right here as well, I believe they have issues on some years. I don't really remember, but I might replace that as well with the aftermarket one that's bigger. a little bit more power. This does have the whole factory exhaust on with the cats on as well, so I'm going to take out the cats and weld a straight pipe in there. That's probably the first exhaust mod I'll do. I'll keep the factory one on for a little bit just to see how it sounds, because I love turbo noises. I'm definitely going to do that. Another thing I want to do is I want to run a 4-inch either MBRP or whatever kind of exhausts that are good for this truck. I'm going to look that up, do some more research on that, but I think I want to run a 4-inch just to really unleash that turbo noise. And also I think exhaust pipes without a tip look really good. Almost looks like a diesel. So I'll probably just leave no tip on it. And then again, this is going to be a tow rig, so I don't want it to be too loud. So I might weld in a little exhaust flap with a muffler to open it or close it when I want to be loud or quiet. Another thing I forgot to mention, this one does have the sunroof. The white one does not. Another thing I forgot to mention was I paid $7,000 for this FX4 here. This one over here, I believe I paid, and this is including fees, I believe I paid like 5,000 something, which was way too much for this truck. It did have a lift kit. It looked promising that it was going to start. It was a repossessed. Another crazy thing about this one, I'll post up pictures, is that the previous owner or somebody, when this was sitting, cut out the cats. So somebody stole the cats on this truck. Also the battery was missing. They did some weird stuff to this truck, which the wiring looked like it was messed with. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't really want to rebuild this. I'm looking for an EcoBoost to replace the Titan. I want to have it for a long time. So that's why I wanted to get a great trim level, great interior. Finally got it. And I'll be keeping this truck for a long time and building it. So if any of you guys are Ford F-150 fans, or if you want to see a rebuild on this truck, make sure to subscribe, because there's a lot of mods coming for this. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video.